Jefferson County Airport. Automated weather observation. 1758 Zulu. Weather. Wind 050 at 4.
Well, not according to the wind, to the mechanical thing.
Well, I mean, it's not really moving at all.
It's true. AWAS says it is. Flag says it's not.
And that one over there is not.
So I'd say pretty much either one you want to use, you're fine with.
Well, what do you think the people are going to be listening to the weather on their way here?
They're going to use 6.
So let's just do 6. That way we don't have to worry about conflicts.
It works for me.
Okay.
Remember, don't ride your brakes to control speed, just like your car. Hopefully you don't stand on the brakes and the gas at the same time.
How do you know that I'm touching the brakes?
I feel it. And I can hear it as well. I can hear the motor revved up a couple of hundred more than normal for the speed we're going. On the other hand, you know, 8,000 or 9,000 hours in a plane, you kind of get used to it.
All right, I'm going to shut up now. Well taken.
I don't know if I got quite that many. But I all but guarantee I got over 6,000 in one of these things.
Yeah, my only concern about being at, you know, airports like this is I don't trust a lot of the other pilots in the area.
Well, that's actually pretty good. I don't trust pilots in general. I've seen many of them that either aren't well trained or never learned to think for themselves, or they don't think at all. They just kind of hang out and it happens. And a lot of students, they'll say, well, I'm 10 miles west, when in fact they're 10 miles east. And they look at their DG, and the DG says west is in front of them, so they say, hey, I'm 10 miles west. So, you know, you basically learn that it's see and avoid, like driving on the interstate.
Yep. Fly defensively.
Yep. And even when you're tempted to have road rage, don't.
Cloud rage, I guess, would be, I'll call it. Pretty much right here? Or should I turn?
I don't like to hide the approach of the runway. So I'd either, sometimes I'll turn about a 45, but I don't turn 90 where the wing is blocking the approach. So here is fine with me. I'm perfectly happy with here.
Okay, cool. I'm going to stay here. All right. Going to tap the brakes to test the... I mean, I've been testing them all the way here. Obviously, you know, I've been using them more than I should have. Okay, brakes, flight controls, flight instruments. Went ahead and set this. Now I need to set this.
Yeah, I think if you just rev it back up a bit, hold your brakes good. And I think by the time you get done, it should be about right.
Okay. Fuse selector, both. Pitch. And let's do RPMs at 17. And that's right here. And let's try the right one first. Back to both. And left. And back to both. I got about 100 drop for both, for each one. Pretty much what you saw?
That would be about right.
Yep. And back to 1100. Carb heat, check that.
And it should drop a little bit.
It did.
Sometimes it drop more than others, just depends. And then it comes back up. And
it was real small, but I did see it move.
Okay. And then when you push it back in, that it comes back up is equally as important.
Right. Cabin doors are locked.
Mine's locked.
Okay. Belt's not on.
Oh, heavens for Murgatroyd.
Hey. Taxi the whole way without the seat. That's the first time I've ever done that.
I remember when I started flying, the car I owned did not have a seatbelt in it. And I started flying at age 16. And shortly after that, I put a seatbelt in the car.
Was that right here nearby? It wasn't this airport because it wasn't.
No, it wasn't at this airport.
What airport was it?
Actually, Caswell Air Park. It's 1,900-foot grass.
Where was that?
Caswell County, next county west.
Is that the one that still has the grass strip? That's like going back home. Funny. All right, landing lights. And
so the lights are the two top ones.
Oh, so these were bacon and strobe.
Correct.
That's right. Should I turn those off?
No.
Come on. What about
the
lights?
The reg navs are so dim they don't really do anything other than nighttime.
More lights is better than no lights.
Yeah, and I can't argue with that. But if somebody sees the color of those lights, they're going to hit you.
Okay.
Or scare the hell out of themselves, one of the two.
Transponder should be set to alt.
And 1200. And it is.
How do I see that?
ALT here.
All right.
And then 1200.
Got it. I'm not used to seeing that, that's why I wanted to see what it looked like. All right. Amp meter. Fuel quantity. Fuel looks good.
And the other plane, the gauges read very accurately. This one actually reads low.
Okay, so there's more fuel than that?
This will say that, yeah, there's slightly more than that. It's more noticeable the closer they get to empty. I'm okay with that. I just don't want them to have less fuel than they say they have.
Okay. I think we're ready to go.
Okay.
Would you agree?
I would.
All right. Go. That guy in the airport? Or is he somewhere else?
No, he's outside the fence. Person County, Cessna 2 Echo Romeo will be departing 6, taking off on 6 and staying in the pattern. Person.
Weird that he's just sitting there.
Yeah, it's an observation area. People, either that or they go there and park or drink beer or something, I don't know.
All right, I can see verifying runway 6.
Okay, so where I would be looking if I was landing is somewhere around where the 6 is.
Okay.
Maybe just a tiny bit closer. Would be about my distance for looking. You've got to decide where you, without thinking about it, just kind of feel like you're sitting on the runway.
Okay.
But if you're looking where this end of this area is, you'll likely end up flaring high.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, go. Airspeed's live. And 55, rotate.
And a bit of right foot. Hardly enough to notice, but it does take just a smidgen.
So I'm looking for my 10% climb, because the other indicator was really nice. Where am I seeing that here?
Right there.
I don't see where the 10 would be.
The black line.
Oh, okay.
But the other thing is the tip of the cowling's about on the horizon.
Okay.
45 entry traffic inside. Let's have a traffic 2 minutes till jumpers away 14,000 and below. Do not overfly the field. Suffolk.
And then once you ballpark it, then you tweak it by looking at airspeed. And, you know, if you're a little fast, you've got it a little bit low. If you're too slow, you just lower it a tiny bit. Because your power is a constant at this point.
So I should be turning left.
Correct. Oh, look, see what's out there.
Person County traffic, Cessna 262, Echo Romeo is turning left for runway 6.
Now, about 1,600 feet altitude.
I should still be climbing.
You are actually about 200 feet high.
Oh, okay. So, I'm used to reading that altimeter. All right, so
And then think about what RPM you want to run the motor. Generally about 2,300 is a good number.
okay.
If you don't, the trouble, if you're not careful, you're going to end up way high.
November 9 Echo Delta, turning base.
Now remember, normally we'd like to be about 1,000 feet above the ground on downwind.
Yeah, 2,000.
Well, so airport elevation plus 1,000. But you're also still wide open on your throttle, and the plane's fighting you because every time you push over and relax, it pitches back up because of the amount of power you've got in.
Okay.
Remember, trim is an airspeed,
away 14,000
and where it's normally set should work pretty good for cruise
November 9 Echo Delta, turning final runway 31.
in most of this level of airplane.
Yeah, I'm having to get used to the new cockpit, so that's part of my.
Okay.
So just give me a second.
Fine. That's fine. Just,
sorry about that.
it's in the same locations. It's just a little bit different this presentation.
Person County traffic, Twin Star 2 Bravo Lima is
Don't go too low.
about 2 miles from the FAP and down on a ILS for 6 person.
And Twin Star, how far out are you?
About 1.5 miles out for 2 Bravo Lima.
All right, 2 Echo Romeo will extend downwind till we pick you up. Hold your altitude.
2 Bravo Lima.
So this means 2,300 RPM down here,
Right.
in the green. And we're looking for this airplane that said he's 1.5 miles out. I'm not convinced he knows where he is.
He's going for 6?
Said he was.
There was a theme, the numbers, we'll do a simulated engine out on runway 5, Harnett.
Been out.
Now we're listing about 10 different airports, so you have to...
No, I know, but he said Harnett.
I would say probably not. Cavalier Skyhawk 12 Kilo Bravo is through 3,300, leaving the area to the southwest. Clear traffic.
I don't see him.
And Twin Star, how far out from person runway 6 are you now?
We're about 4 miles out from runway 6 now, thank you.
Which direction is he going?
Coming this way.
Now he's 3, but he said he was 1.
I know, that's what I tell you. Can't trust them.
Well, we'll just...
We just have to
We're
keep...
okay to go ahead
hang out.
and proceed, and down, we're about 3 miles.
Lima High, right downwind, runway 25.
What we want to do is just make sure we don't crowd the center line, but I think you're fine.
I wish I could see him though.
Well, you're going low. Remember 1600. Yeah, he should be off your side at some point. I haven't seen him either.
Harnett County, November 15246, turning left, crosswind, runway 5, Harnett County.
Kind of weird because it's pretty flat wind-wise.
Yeah, hold your pitch.
And now
Follow your pitch. Remember we talked about last time. Yeah. Pitch control is probably the one area you're going to really have to focus on.
Harnett County traffic, November 15246, turning left, downwind, runway 5, Harnett County. 3 mile final, 3 wind check.
Tower coming up on the right.
Harnett traffic, are you on the downwind?
And Twin Star, how far from runway 6 are you now in person?
Almost over the numbers we're going around here.
All right, thanks. 2 Echo Romeo is turning about a 5-mile base leg for runway 6 person. Okay. This would be more like Raleigh. Ought to be old home time down week.
What do you mean?
A 5-mile final.
Oh. Vectoring.
Yeah, so you can just bring it on around, get her lined up. When you start to feel like the angle down is correct, then you can start setting up your power and flaps and so forth. So I would go ahead and turn in.
Okay.
Right now we're still angled out a little bit. Somebody's got a Twin Star Diamond that's kind of a dark gray color. They're talking about a miserable plane to see.
November 15246, turning left base, runway 5.
It's not so bad if you're looking up at him, but to look over or down at him, he disappears.
Right. So when the big hand is at here, we're at 15, right?
Yes, right now you're at 16.
Okay. For 6 person.
Now, we absolutely do not want to slow down or come down here. You're still 4 miles from the end of that runway. So if you come down now, you'll be dragging the treetops.
Okay.
So you just basically leave it at 2300, motor in at normal cruise until it starts to look right. See those buildings, kind of a white top on it?
Yeah.
Normally we're on the other side of that on base leg.
Okay, so yeah, we're way out.
But if you're not careful, without paying attention to your plane itself, just staring out the windshield, you'll end up too low or too off high or too something. So right now we're down to 800 feet above ground, and we're still about 2.5 miles from the runway.
Brookdale traffic, Skipper 360 Bravo, 5 miles to the...
Yeah, man, a little bit of updraft helped a tiny bit.
Yeah, I haven't done any flaps yet, though.
Well, straight in, I don't do anything until I'm in a normal slant.
Okay.
So I'd stay level a tiny bit longer, because if you push the nose over, we're going to pick up a lot of speed. We're going to be way outside the flap range.
Okay.
So somewhere about now is where I'd start to pull the carb heat, the power, and the flaps. Keep the nose up. Don't let it down yet. Back to about 1700, 1800, and 10 degrees of flaps. And again, one of the things you're going to really have to work with is pitch control. You don't want to see the horizon bouncing up and down on you. Person County, 2 Echo Romeo, 1 mile final for runway 6 person. And that went on too much flaps. There we go. But now you're looking real good, okay? So we're going to put in another notch of flaps. So we're now down to about 20. Now, again, if you see everything at the end of the runway rising, you aren't going to get there. You're going to hit the ground before you get there. So right now, we need to come to the nose, bring the nose up to about here. Okay? Airspeed's beginning to taper down. That's looking good. And we're back in pretty good shape. Going to put in a little more flaps. And now we're going to concentrate on the landing. So nobody coming on the other end, aiming for just shy of the 1,000-foot markers, working to be over the center line of the runway. Looking good. Power slowly coming out because we're at 770. Power coming out. 3 stripes ahead of you. 3 stripes. Let them come up slowly. As they do, keep the wing down to correct for side load. Now, gotta keep pulling back. Now, what's going on is the wind's blowing you sideways.
Yes, it was.
Okay. The way you compensate for that, remember we did that Dutch rolls?
Yeah, I should have.
Okay, so
I wasn't anticipating it.
Yeah, that's what you got to be working on. Carb heat cold. Your wings control side to side, feet point. So we ideally want to be over the center by holding the wing down to compensate for side to side, and then we want to point our nose straight down the center of the runway. And on a day when it's choppy, you just fight it. I mean, you know, there's no smoothness to this, so you do what you have to do. The nose coming up to touch the horizon, right about there. Good.
Right down.
And that's about the right pitch, and the speed will slow down a little bit, but that's fine. Somewhere, you always want to be thinking about if the motor quit, altitude is my friend. Right. Some airspeed is my friend, but if I'm doing 100, but I'm only 100 feet off the treetops, I cannot trade back up efficiently. I might trade up a tiny bit, but it's not efficient. So efficiently, climbing somewhere in the 75 to 80 range, but with the nose about on the horizon, should work pretty good. And then we'll make a 90-degree left turn.
All right.
Person County to Echo Romeo, turning crosswind, 6 person. And then leveling out at 1600, pitch-wise. And then reducing the power to maintain about 2300 RPM. Checking for traffic. Holding pitch nice and steady and turning downwind. And then when I look at this, I look at both of these typically because, you know, if you have the nose down a tiny bit, 200 feet a minute means you're going to lose, you know, 100 feet in about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. So by not paying attention, you up and down a lot. You see 700 up, you're going to gain 100 feet in about 10 seconds. So you have to anticipate, and you mainly do it looking outside. And then, if you got the power set, the pitch trimmed right, the plane should stay level. So if you relax your left hand and the nose drops, it's not trimmed right. And that seems to be the case. So, give you a little bit of more up trim. Now, on a bumpy day, it still should stay reasonably level. It won't be perfect because it'll be chasing the air currents, but like a boat on a rough lake or ocean or something. But it ought to still not be pitching way down or way up. And, you know, part of it's, you know, are you gripping the yoke so tight that you can't feel what the plane's trying to tell you, or are you kind of loose and you can feel the pressure changes?
Yeah. I pretty much err on the side of grabbing too tightly because on a windy...
So do most people.
Well,
initially.
Especially on a windy day, I don't want to be surprised.
Okay, well, let go. Just literally let go. All right, give me 1700 RPM. No, you're holding again.
I know, sorry.
Hey, just stay relaxed.
I just don't trust.
I know you don't. That's what we're working on. We're working on the trust factor. Okay, left turn. Speed only.
Turn to traffic Warrior 7.
Speed only?
Yeah, stand on the left foot a little bit.
45 feet downwind runway 05.
Now I'm pulling a tiny bit just to keep it from dropping too far down. But notice I only got one finger on it. Okay, now relax again.
Hornet on to traffic. How far are you from the airport?
Power back just a tiny bit. Power, just a tiny, out.
Oh, power.
Pull back a little bit. Right there. Good. All right, tiny bit of bank angle, tiny bit of foot. What's the plane doing? About 500 feet a minute down, about 80 knots. Angle looks pretty good, maybe a tiny bit high, but not bad. Person County 2, Echo Romeo's final 6. Pop in a tiny bit more flaps. Power back just a tiny bit. And now, use your yoke. Nice and steady. Don't pull, don't push. You just use two fingers and a thumb. Okay, so nose up just a hair. Now we're no longer quite on trim speed. That's okay. See it rising? We can pitch up a tiny bit. We can add power a tiny bit. We can do both a tiny bit. Pull just a little bit, just gently. Looking about the 6, a little past it. All the way out. Right wing down just a tiny bit. Pull gently, looking 3 stripes. 3 stripes. Keep pulling, keep pulling.
That was better.
Okay.
I feel better about that one.
All right, flaps are coming
How
up.
much were you helping?
Carb heat. I was dampening things out a tiny bit, but I wasn't helping a whole lot. But you see how steady that was?
Yeah.
Wasn't up and down a lot. And that's what you're looking for with your flying, is to be able to keep the plane that steady. And just kind of ride with the wind currents as needed, but not letting the plane fly itself.
You're right, it's about trust.
It is. And, you know, I think we talked about this, but my daughter, at one point, before she got her private, we were out kind of getting ready, trying to get her ready for the check ride, and it was a really windy day, and she was just had death grip on the yoke. I said, okay, there's a problem here. We trimmed the plane out.
Executive, which runway you direct station?
And I said, I want you to let go of the yoke completely.
He said no.
And we flew for 20 minutes without her holding the yoke.
I can't imagine that.
Only using her feet.
In heavy wind.
And we'll be
Moderate turbulence. And she finally looked around at me and she said, Dad, I think I finally got this. It's God's job to make the plane fly. It's my job to give it direction. Meaning the laws of physics apply.
Right. On the air from 14,000 feet. Do not overfly the airport. Chester traffic.
And in fact, the airplane's trying to take care of you. You're the one trying to kill the airplane. All right, I have the controls again. All right.
Wind exec traffic, Cessna 13 Charlie is 1 mile left base, runway 5, full stop, wind exec.
Hornet traffic Warrior 70 Hotel, turning base, runway 5. Hornet traffic.
I don't know about you, but I don't like working real hard.
Well, I don't have as many hours of trust.
I know. But we're going to get there. Okay. So get a little updraft. What goes up will come down.
But I'm going too high now.
That's something. It's like the boat on the ocean. It got too slow, so it's going to correct itself. Now I am using my feet, okay? And I may not have it trimmed quite right. That would also give us the climb.
So what do you want me to do?
Nothing.
Nose down? Okay.
I had one of my students last week land the airplane without ever touching the yoke.
I can't imagine that.
It's actually in the owner's manual how to do it in case the cables break.
Well, guess I need to learn. First things first.
Yeah, it's not something I teach, you know, before you solo.
That's good. So it's 17.
Okay, so you see how hard we've been working on downwind. So now it's time to get a little precision in. So 2 fingers and the thumb. Keep the pitch steady, don't let it drop. Carb heat, power back to 17. Keep the nose level, don't let it fall. There you go. All right, now 3 seconds worth of flaps. That'll balance the plane back out.
I don't know if that was 3 seconds.
That's pretty close. All right, now you can let the nose start to come down and make your turn in. Don't look too far away, because when you do, the nose tends to want to drop too much, or maybe you push it a little bit because of body English or whatever.
Yeah.
And our job at this point is to create a ramp, if you will, that gets us to past the end of the runway at a pretty steady descent. And we're angled away from the runway ever so slightly. Probably need to bring the power back up just a tiny bit.
Hey, firm. Yeah, sorry, we're going opposite direction, guys, but we'll be in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, then we'll be a full stop.
Okay, now don't let the nose drop too much, because if you do, we won't get there. What you're looking for now is what's staying still, what's going up, what's going down, okay? What's coming under you. So out there on the pitch, power back, well, put in a little bit more flaps. Bring it on around to line it up. Keep your nose down about where you got it. Don't let it don't pull on it through the turn. Power back just a tiny bit. A little bit more. Hitting an updraft right here. Now, aim for past the number. Your visual picture past the number. Okay, power back some, because we need to slow down a little bit more. Nose just went way down. There you go, about right there, perfect. Nice and steady. Good, there you go. That was a good adjustment. Now remember, we may need a tiny bit of right wing down, hardly enough to notice, but a tiny bit. Stay over the center. Power all the way out, all the way. Now I'm looking about the white painted blocks. Starting to widen out, very slowly bringing the nose up. Keep it coming. Now looking about 3 stripes ahead, and as they come up slowly, got to pull. All right, so how much do we have left? Enough to still fly with. Okay? All right, but that's better.
Okay.
So we still hadn't used up all the energy available to us. We could still pull a little bit more to keep that sink rate very slow. On the other hand, I don't think you necessarily have to have the nose way up in the air. You just have to have the closure rate slow.
Okay. I need to not let the wind affect me.
Well, today you got a little bit of a choppy wind, so it's rocking your plane.
Yeah.
And that's harder. If it was just steady, it'd be easier.
It's a little unpredictable. That's why when you told me just to take my hands off, I'm like, I don't trust that, because I don't want to do bad stuff.
Well, and I'd have you take the hands off, not because in normal life we don't fly around holding the yoke, or to let you realize that the plane is just like a boat riding over the waves. Just because you get a little change doesn't mean it does anything, rolls over and sinks.
Roger that.
In fact, the FAA would not allow you to certify an airplane that did that, because that would be negative stability. Good. And reduce your power. And then make your turn. Good. Think about pitch control and where you want to be over the ground. You're controlling the plane. You're giving it the guidance it needs to get you where you want to be.
Just wanted to give you a heads up. We're 15 minutes out. And, what runway is traffic using?
Now, it's coming down a little bit too much. That's a subtle adjustment. Some people, it just takes them a little longer to figure out what level looks like.
Still jumpers in the air over Washington.
To me, it's like that.
Yeah. Well, right now you're pretty much right on it.
Okay.
Person County 2, Echo Romeo downwind 6, person.
Hornet traffic, Cherokee 1047 Pump Kilo. We've extended our downwind a little bit. We'll come in and do a long final.
I need to do some flaps.
5, Hornet.
Not quite yet.
Okay.
About even with where you want to touch down.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was thinking halfway.
Well, and it could be your others instructors were teaching you halfway.
Yeah, others.
Okay, so carb heat, then power back, keep your nose level, and your first notch of laps. First 3 seconds. Now, that should slow us down to about 85, and at 85 the nose will come down a little bit, which will set up your ramp that gets you to the runway. And then when you think it's about the right place, probably about now, make your turn to base leg. Doing good, nice and steady, doing good. Nose up just a tiny bit, right there. Not quite enough to you notice, really. And the reason I noticed it's because of the speed. All right, another 10 degrees of flaps, 3 seconds. All right, power back a tiny bit, just a little bit high. Not bad. Much rather be a little high than low. High is good, low it. And turn when you're ready. Person County 2, Echo Romeo, turn in final 6, person. Not too steep on the bank. Remember, your stall speed goes way up if you get much past about 30 degrees of bank. Just work to line us up on the center line. Got to anticipate a little bit. Okay, a little more. Keep your nose down slightly. Stay relaxed.
No airport, Archer 6240 Hotel.
All right, nice and steady. Power back some. We've got to lose some speed. Power on back a bit. Bring it on back. Bring it on back. Now, see, we're a little bit high, but that's okay. We can't just shove the nose over because we can't lose our speed if the hill's too steep. All the way out because you're doing 80 at 800, 70 at 700. Pitching up just a tiny bit. Good. Now wait on it to widen out. Now flare. Work your flare, 3 stripes ahead. Keep pulling gently, keep working it. Don't quit, don't quit. Keep pulling. Gotta keep pulling. All right. Now, what we may want to do is bring your where you're looking in just a tiny bit.
Okay. I'm looking too far now.
Maybe. but you're not snatching it up. So we're maybe going from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Now we're looking for the middle ground.
Sometimes people overcorrect.
Well, it's a matter of just figuring it out. You know, literally, you're doing something entirely new and different, and it's a matter of just figuring out what it is.
Traffic Cherokee 747 Pump Kilo, turning downwind, runway 5, Hornet.
Plane does like this cold air.
Yes, it does. It is all about flying.
Person County to Echo Romeo, turning crosswind 6.
Washington 1 traffic, we have 3 canopies over the east side of the field, 10, 10,000 and below. Do not directly overfly the field. Washington traffic.
Hornet traffic, Cherokee 747 Populous, simulated engine out, runway 5, Hornet.
Now, what are you seeing? What's your gauges telling you?
Going too fast.
What else?
Too low. Too low, too fast.
And the fast is because you had the nose come too far down.
Right, so a quick fix is just to pitch up a little.
Correct.
Roger 6240 Hotel.
So now,
Entering left downwind for 24. Have
And then the sound also is a giveaway. If the motor sounds like it's struggling, it probably is.
Right.
And that means you're going uphill. Or it could be you pull the power back without meaning to. Flying is a game of being deliberate and by the numbers.
Hornet traffic, Cherokee 747 Pop Kilo, it's just off of runway 5, departing to the north. Last call, Hornet.
Okay, pitch control and flaps. You're doing better. Pitch control is nice and steady. Person County to Echo Romeo base 6 person. Okay, another 10 degrees of flaps. Good. Nose down just a tiny bit, maybe the power back just a hair, not much. 100 RPM. Now, probably nose is a tiny bit too low, right there.
Archer 40 Hotel, turning left base 24 Brookfield.
Pitch control in the turn. Don't want to pull up too hard. Because if we do, A, we level out, and B, we get too slow. Looking okay. Speed's all right. Somewhere between 70 and 80. That's fine. Altitude looks good to me. This is probably, again, a little bit steeper probably than they were having you do in Raleigh. But you see everything rising now? Okay, so that's a slight pitch change, because if you don't, we're going to hit the ground in the grass. And now we evaluate whether we need to change power. Now you're looking good. And see how subtle that change was? Hardly, you didn't even notice you did it, but you did. Okay, so looking pretty good. Flaps coming in a little bit more. Nose down. Well, actually, hold what you got. If you dive in, we're going to have too much speed. The nose right about there. Power all the way out. Looking about the 1,000-foot markers. Letting her come down. Good. Now start to round it out slowly. 3 stripes, 2 to 3. Keep rounding. And you're pulling better. Flaps are coming up. So wherever you look then, you're beginning to see what you need to see. And the reason I know is because you pull more. But yet you didn't snatch on it.
right. Question. I asked this question last week, and I'm going to ask it again. Why the heck do they have lights on sometimes and sometimes no lights?
The runway lights typically won't come on until it gets dusty dark.
Well, what about
The VASIs are, all the lighting at this airport are pilot controlled.
how do I turn it on? 7.
5 tip clicks, 10 will typically put the VASI on, or PAPI on.
Just right here?
Yep.
I'm going to do it. Guess it's a crutch, right?
Well, if it helps you learn, I mean, sometimes, you know, it's easier to paint by the numbers than it is to visualize what the painting ought to look like otherwise.
Entering a left.
Once you kind of get a feel for it, of where the pitch needs to be, the airspeed, the feel of the plane, the result of what you're doing, you know, usually about 500 feet a minute down in the pattern, once you start downhill in the pattern.
111, thank you very much.
And then, you know, are you getting low? Are you too high, too fast, too slow? Those things require some changing. And the fact that you make 100 laps around the pattern and no two are identical is part of, I think, why people like to do this. If you got to where you were perfect all the time, it would lose some of the appeal. Look at vertical speed here.
Tower City traffic, experimental 426 parking car. There's 7 miles to the west inbound from landing, Tower City.
Good, that's just about level.
Tower City traffic, experimental 635 Lima. 5 miles south, at 2000 we'll be crossing from the east, turning left downwind runway 4.
Now, if you pull the power back without meaning to, the plane slows down, the pitch wants to come down, right? The end result is it starts to creep down on the altitude. So
I don't think I did I?
Well, we're down to about 2200. That's okay if that's what you intended to use.
I did. Well, I guess I was just estimating.
But your pitch control is getting a lot better.
Chester traffic, parachute operations from 14,000 feet, commencing in 2 minutes. Use caution. Maneuvering around the airport and do not overfly. Chester traffic.
All right. Carb heat, power, and flaps. Person County, 2 Echo Romeo, Cessna on base leg, 6 person. Again, pitch control is airspeed. If you aren't changing your power, then the pitch is airspeed. It also impacts your up and down, but it mainly is airspeed.
Midfield, turning left downwind runway 4, final due traffic.
And if you feel like you're hanging up here, not coming down, then obviously you got to pitch down a little bit, but nice and steady. Think about what you're seeing, what.
Blue Ridge traffic, Cherokee 2315.
Hey, give you a little bit more flaps.
Blue Ridge.
Did you do that?
A little bit of flaps, yeah.
Okay.
Give you a little bit more, a little bit fast. Aim for the end of the runway. Or aim for the past the 6, I'm sorry, not the end. But make it come down. Okay, right about there. So, airspeed's a little fast and we're a little bit high. What you gonna do?
Pull up.
No. Don't pull the power out.
Pull power.
If you pull the power, the plane starts to sink because it's slowing down without changing the pitch. The nose will try to drop. You don't want to let it. You want to just nice and steady. Some of this is wind induced. All the way out, 80 at 800. Looking about 2 stripes past the numbers. letting them come to you. Down slowly, staying 2 to 3 stripes ahead. Keep working it as it settles. Keep working as it settles. If you overdo it, you balloon, but be ready to pull again. If it balloons and you still got a little bit of speed feel, just be ready to freeze, let it start sinking, and then be ready to pull some more. It's kind of the reverse of taking off.
Kinda.
Blue Ridge traffic, Cherokee 15 Tango, final 13 full stop.
Traffic, Experimental 635 Lima Lima, turning base runway 44 stops out.
We got traffic, we're 36 Bravo, turning base, final runway 24.
Iowa City traffic, Experimental 426 Foxtrot is crossing over the north end of the field for left downwind for 4 full stops. Iowa City. City traffic, Experimental 426 Foxtrot, turning left.
Potentially going a little bit less power so that I can come down a little bit.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you knew that.
Arnett County, Cherokee 90616 Whiskey.
And now I'm going to level off.
Approach.
Back to 23.
And then keep your nose up level. Otherwise, we come down at high speed, but we don't solve our problem. Our problem is to slow down, but not come down until we are in position to need to.
Left base runway 4 full stops.
A little bit of flap. Then you turn to base leg. Person County 2 Echo Romeo turning base 6 person. And a little bit too low on pitch, about right there. Hardly enough difference to notice, but not quite level, but not quite as far down as it was. Okay, angle to the runway looks pretty good. Give you a little more flaps. Person County 2 Echo Romeo turning final 6 person. Looking good. Angle to the runway looks good. Slightly, again, my preference is the angle you see right now.
Okay.
She just got here, Steve.
All right, thanks.
And let me put gas in it.
What's going on?
Nothing. Nothing to be concerned with. All right, now, need to nose up a little bit. You see 3 red lights? Tells me we're getting a little bit low, but we're fast. So we can trade again. Now you're back in good place, but you can't pull all your power out just yet, because now we're down to 75. So we're looking for the 6. We're looking to have it, or past it, to stay steady without bleeding off all our speed or picking up speed. Looking good. Power all the way out. Still coming down, slowly. Be ready. Wait, 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 wait. See it going back up. Be ready. Again. Wait. More. Now, wasn't real pretty, but I didn't touch it. Okay, that was entirely you. The whole thing.
Okay. It wasn't pretty at all.
Okay? But you did it. You did it without me touching anything.
I mean, it feels like
Right foot, just a touch. Hardly enough to notice.
feels like the winds are just...
Winds are kicking you around a bit, there's no question.
So, I'm not happy about it, but I don't want the winds to control me. So,
Well, remember, it's just like the wind blowing on a lake. You've got chop on the lake, or maybe the ocean, you got swells. But the plane rides over them just like a boat does.
yeah.
Yeah, and our job as the pilot is just to kind of dampen them out.
And I'm okay with it up here. This doesn't bother me. Takeoff doesn't bother me. I just don't like the wind surprising me when I'm about to hit the ground. That's the thing that makes me a little bit concerned.
Well, it gives most people a little anxiety at the beginning. And part of it, again, it's back to the confidence deal.
From the hangar to runway 6, Person County.
The more confidence you have that the plane is controllable and that you can do it, the more you will do it.
Right.
Again, it's not based on anything other than my belief, but I think the reason people panic and freeze is because their brain doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know whether to fight or flight. And so what we're learning is, how to fight. And we're learning that we can master the fight proposition. And then if we see it getting way over our head, then the flight comes in, and that's called the go-around.
Brooknell traffic, skipper 3860 Bravo, downwind of 24, Brooknell.
But, it's one of the concerns I have is that people are scared to move the controls. At this point, there are times at which overdoing it's better than underdoing it. Okay? And in landing, when it's windy and choppy, there are times that you literally putting it in, taking it right back out. It's just, it's a matter of kind of tapping on it till you nudge it in the right place.
Looks like somebody's getting ready to take off.
Don't worry about them.
Okay.
Pitch control.
Hey, right now, 4115, type opportunity, downwind, runway 5, when is that?
It's only a concern if we're on short final and he pulls out in front of us. That's a concern.
Okay.
Okay. You're set up.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Brooknell 3860 Bravo, turn in base for 24, Brooknell.
And Person County to Echo Romeo, turn in base, runway 6, Person.
Drone.
Cherokee 15242.
Christian County Airport. Automated weather observation 185 Zulu. Weather. Wind 200 at 4. Visibility 1.
So it's turned.
Yep.
I mean, that's the problem I'm having.
Okay, nose up slightly. Right there. Nose down slightly. Not way down. Just a tiny bit. Just enough to get the speed back where we want it. Okay, looking good. Nice and steady. Don't let it drop. Don't let your nose drop, because if it drops, all of a sudden everything rises. Power back a little bit. Nose up a little bit. Right about there. Yeah, don't let your nose drop. If you do, we could just come in low. Got plenty of speed, so we aren't worried about maintaining speed. Nose down slightly. Right there, not too steep. Good. Looking good. Everything's coming together. I'm watching about the 1,000 foot, the end of the runway, to 1,000 foot, the end of the runway, all the way out. Hold the pitch steady. Don't let it drop. Start to round out very slowly. And be ready. Very slowly. Wait. Wait. Faster. Now, we were getting really close and just went back, pulled a tiny, tiny bit too hard. Wasn't hardly enough to even notice, except that the runway started to widen back our...
Yeah, I know, I saw it. I knew what I did. I was like, dang, I just did too much.
Yep. And that's, again, it's just a matter, we got a little more speed than we need when we get started, and we got to let that speed go away.
We want to switch direction?
Not unless he leaves, because he's already taxied out
Right.
for 6. The other thing is you don't have the sun in your eyes.
Okay.
Right now it's probably not much of a problem, but later in the afternoon it is.
Yeah. Well, it said 4 knots.
It's like standing beside a river that's flowing very slow and lazily. And if you put a boat in, you would drift very slowly and lazily down beside the bank. But the air itself, the boat relative to the river, is sitting still.
Yeah.
And so if you tried to step out on the bank, you'd have a problem. And so in our case, we try to step out on the runway. What it does is it gives us about 4 knots of extra ground speed that we have to lose the energy. But as far as how the plane handles until it touches the ground, it makes no real difference. If it's blowing a lot harder, then what it does is it pushes you down the runway a lot further. But 3 or 4 knots is really not much of an issue on a long runway.
Yeah.
In fact, the corporate stuff lands with up to 10 knot of tailwind. And they're landing at quite a bit faster speed.
Yeah.
10 miles to north.
Okay, think about power, altitude, pitch. Power back a tiny bit more. Because if you don't, you're going to keep climbing. Good. Power's good.
What time is it?
Rootmill, Skipper 360 Bravo, downwind 24.
2 o'clock.
Maybe a couple more?
Yeah,
You got your
sounds
lesson
good.
at 2:30?
Yeah, about 2 more.
520 base runway 5 touching go wings deck.
Brooknell Skipper 360 Bravo, turn in base for 24.
Good.
Person County Traffic, Bonanza 791 Victor Whiskey, departing runway 6, will depart to the north, Person County.
And person, Cessna 2 Echo Romeo's a wide base for 6 person.
Brooknell Skipper 360 Bravo, turn on final for 24.
Nose down just a tiny bit. Hardly enough to notice. And watch your airspeed. That's the power management at this point. So aim the plane, use power to control airspeed. We need to start slowing down. Power back some more, it's way fast. A little bit high, but way fast. Power back some more. Now nose up a little bit, because you can get down to the end of the runway, but we're going to be doing 90. Nose up a tiny bit more. Right there, perfect. Okay, think through what you want to accomplish. Nose up, nose up, nose up. Right there. Not level, just enough so we don't pick up, we lose speed.
Departure, Person County.
About 3 stripes, 2 to 3. Look at that, look at that, look at that.
That's good.
All right, show me another one like that.
Oh, snap. I want to do that.
And you put the wing down to pull you back in the center.
Harnett Regional Traffic,
I know there's hope for me.
12 to the north, will be inbound the RNAV 23, circle to land, runway 5, Harnett.
Got a full lessons tomorrow too?
Yep, busy. You know, I went for 3 months or so, hardly did anything on the weekends. Now I'm filling up the weekend full both days.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it's actually, you know, pays the bills. That's why I'm out here.
Yeah, but it doesn't do much for social family life.
See that airplane over there?
Yeah. I didn't hear him say anything, did he?
It's a Cessna, he hadn't said anything. But you fly your game.
Okay.
So we need to level off. He's about 100 feet high. Power back, because we need to gain a little bit of distance, not much, but a little bit on him. And turn. Person County, 2 Echo Romeo, turning downwind behind the other Cessna, downwind, Person County. Lower your nose. If you're not careful, you're going to climb. Now, what we're going to have to adjust for is we're going to have to wait for him to turn base and move away from us before we can turn base. Right. Other than that, we're fine. Power back a little bit. He's slowed down some.
I don't think he's lined up right.
Well, it's not bad. What we don't want to do is gain on him. But nose up slightly, right there, beautiful. Just hold level flight. We'll keep him in sight and let hid turn in and get out of our way, and then we'll make our turn.
Comanche, approximately 10-mile final runway, inbound runway 23 or nav, and base circle line runway 5.
Like we're gaining on him. We're not really going very fast.
No, he's not.
Should we be talking to him?
He is talking. Nose level.
We're overtaking him.
Yep, we sure are.
Brooknell, Skipper 3860 Bravo.
All right, car beats,
Downwind
flaps.
4, Brooknell.
Now, what we do want to do is not descend and stay this close to him. We got to extend out a bit.
Pearson County, Skyhawk 7651, base for 6, Kurt Pearson.
That's him.
Okay, so now all we got to do is not get too slow or low until we're back and got enough distance to be no problem. Look at your airspeed.
Yeah, that's why I'm pushing it.
Brooknell, Skipper 3860.
The reason is the flaps went all the way down.
Oh, snap. I guess I held on to too long.
You remember you have to bring them back to neutral. So where is he?
He's left. He's base.
Okay, when he starts, I've lost sight of him.
I see him.
Pearson County, Skyhawk 6.
All right, you can now turn.
He's turning final.
Pearson County, 2 Echo Romeo, base leg 6 Pearson. Now, we got to maintain speed control here, altitude, got a lot going on. I see him now. Don't pitch up. Don't have the power to pitch up. I think I got your flaps down too far.
A helicopter 445 Delta uniform is currently 3 miles.
Now, the distance looks pretty good now, okay? Unless he just lands and rolls and rolls and rolls, we ought to be in pretty good shape. So power back a little bit. You're picking up speed. Looking for about 80. Visualize your last slide down to the runway.
57 Hotel X-ray, we are 6 to the northeast, descending out of 4100 inbound Blue Ridge.
He's on the runway.
Yep, as long as he goes ahead and turns, we're in fine. Power back just a shade. Power back a little bit more.
He's off.
Pearson County, Skyhawk 7651, clear of 6.
And Pearson 2 Echo Romeo, 3/4 mile final for 6 Pearson. Power back, you're doing about 95, a little past flap speed. Got to get slowed down. Remember, the white arc is your... Do 10 outside the white arc, but once you get past 10, you got to stay within the white arc. Looking good. A little fast, but the angle looks good.
Hotel X-ray, we are
power back just a little bit. Not much. Don't let the nose down, because all you do is lose altitude. All the way out. Nose up just a hair. Good, right there. And wait. And do your thing. A little bit of speed. Be ready, because it's going to start to come back down with you. Pull, pull.
I can't tell what he's doing.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing he's going into the ramp. Okay.
I was going to wait till the last one, but I just didn't want to get too close to him.
RP cold. Landing lights off.
Watch him take your parking space.
That's where he's headed. Looks like Evie's really got it shined up or new paint, one of the two.
Kind of a jerk. He just
looks like an original paint job, original paint design,
he
rather.
just kind of flew in. Just kind of didn't say anything. Yeah, took it.
All right, you go ahead and take my where we picked it up originally. But
I just don't trust him.
oh, that's fine. Just go that way and stay out of his way. Our power back a little bit. All right, looks good.